G'day guys, and today I want to share with you all some wisdom, some thoughts I've had concerning this idea that there's no point to anything we do. Because I want this channel to be, amongst other things, about self-improvement. So I'll be wanting to do videos on, say, the merits of the gym and the health benefits of exercise and that sort of thing, and a good diet. And that's also ties in the philosophy that I talk about in the channel, because it's all about improving your mind, improving your perspectives, and obviously helping you to embrace life as something that is good rather than something that is, has no point or is negative or has no value and that sort of thing. So I've talked about things like this on the channel before, such as the self-defeating premise of valuelessness, and this is pretty similar to what we're talking about today. So you've probably heard this perspective before, this idea that there's no point to anything we do because, in the end the sun goes out, humanity dies, humanity goes extinct, in the far future, so what decisions we make in the here and now don't really matter. We could probably all remember, actually, just as an aside, just how spooky it was, just how frightening it was when we were told as children that the sun was eventually going to envelop the earth. I certainly remember that. Anyway, so that obviously fills you with a sense of pessimism and worthlessness, because it's like, this present that we live in is worthless, or at least discounted heavily on account of events, or lack thereof, that will happen in the far future. So because things are going to happen in the far future that will ultimately, destroy the entire presence of humanity on the galactic stage, or because things will eventually slide into a state of entropy and there will be nothing, things that happen in the here and now don't really matter. So I've never really enjoyed this idea, because I want my actions to be meaningful. I want my actions to be to have some sort of value. I don't want to just sort of give up my whole life just because things are going to happen in another period of time. And I've been thinking about this more and more a bit lately, and I've come up with a few thoughts. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to accept this premise as true, and then examine it for flaws and contradictions and so on. So this is a good way to engage with any argument or theory that you don't agree with. You accept it as true and then examine it for contradictions and so on in order to disprove it. I believe you do certain things like that in science and maths, so it can also be applied in philosophy. So we'll accept it as true that nothing matters because everything will succumb to entropy and cease to be. So the stars go out, humanity goes extinct, the earth is burnt to a cinder, the entire universe becomes an empty void of scattered base elements and nothingness. No oceans, no clouds, no rivers, no rain, the world a wasteland of silence and entropy. Nothing matters in this end state of the universe. The past accomplishments of man, they mean nothing. We can think of the raising of the pyramids, Stonehenge, the discovery of the New World, advances in science, the formalization of science with the scientific method, the great conflicts of man, World War I, World War II. It all just means nothing in the end, because we're existing in a state where nothing really is. So that's something to keep in mind. That's the key word there. Nothing matters. Which is a very interesting premise when we think about the here and now. Because if nothing really matters in the end, then why are you bothering to talk about how nothing matters in the end? The end result of reality is not going to be profoundly changed, so why even bother? Do your actions, your speech, not imply some attribution of value and meaning, some matterness to the idea that nothing matters? And look, let's think about this. When something doesn't matter, you generally don't act on it, or at the very least you're not likely to act on it. So for example, if it doesn't matter whether I do the dishes tonight or tomorrow, I won't do them, or at least, again, I'm not likely to. If it doesn't matter to me whether some football team beats another, you can think of the EPL, where Arsenal beats Chelsea or Man City beats Man U, it doesn't matter to me, so I'm not out there, cheering in the crowds and getting really upset when my team loses and being exuberant when my team wins. If making this video didn't matter to me, I wouldn't bother making it. Why am I not making a video on what the weather was like last Tuesday? It's because it doesn't matter to me. I don't care about that, and I'm going to sort of, in my hierarchy of value, obviously place things above another, and this video is more important than what the weather was like last Tuesday. By the way, hot and smoky. It's a lot of smoke blowing around New South Wales at the moment. Bushfires, good stuff. Anywho, so all the things I've listed above, dishes and soccer matches and what the weather was like, it's all very minor and inconsequential stuff when you compare it to things relating to sort of, the meaning of life and how we should conduct ourselves within life, as someone may be speaking on when they're talking, about how nothing matters. Because that's sort of relating to the meaning of life, because it's like, well, the meaning of life is that in the end nothing really matters, so there probably is no meaning to life, and they're telling you how to conduct themselves because they're telling you that none of your actions matter, so I guess every action has an equal value. And again, why are you talking about this? Why are you speaking to me about this? If all decisions mean nothing in the end, why are you deciding to speak about how decisions mean nothing in the here and now? By speaking about this, you don't seem to be agreeing with your own premise, and unfortunately for you, I can't hear what you are saying over the sound of what you are doing. When you get down to it, the core of my argument against this argument, or this idea, is that by holding this belief, you actively disprove this belief, because if truly nothing matters in the end, if the present is worthless or discounted based on events that will happen in the far future, if there is no point to anything we are doing, then why are you making a point that there's no point to anything that we do? You're contradicting your own premise through your actions. So that's about all I have to say for that for the time being. I do find this idea that there's no point to anything we do a rather fascinating conundrum, and it does seem to be something that comes up a lot in people's lives because everyone's at least been exposed to this idea once. So it is sort of a prevalent thing that we need to be able to overcome in order to live a life that we feel is very meaningful and purposeful, which obviously we want, because humans without purpose tend to just wither on the vine and you become like an empty husk of a human being, and all you're going to end up doing is scrabbling for whatever hedonistic pleasures you can. So obviously we don't want to be like that. We want to believe that our life is purposeful, it has meaning, our decisions matter, and the way we go about this is through philosophy. First and foremost, we have to be able to disprove this idea that there is no point to anything we do, and I hope I've been able to do that for you all today. Thanks all for sticking around, and have a good one.